Tonight, a frustrated union.
We saw this with cuts previously. Next thing you know, services drops to 4%. There's lineups down the street.
The Public Service Alliance of Canada says some employees may be willing to take early retirement, but are not getting the proper information. The push to protect our kids.
It's where we learn, it's where we play, and it's also where we connect with our friends.
A protest on the Hill today. Advocates looking for a child-centered online safety act. And ahead of World Cancer Day,
I would sleep with it, I would shower with it, go for a walk, just that my chemo backpack went everywhere with me.
An aggressive cancer diagnosis, an unconventional form of treatment. One man shares his powerful story. Good evening. We begin tonight with the latest on thousands of job cuts to the federal public service as unions warn everyday Canadians will feel the impact. The workers are looking for clarity about the options they have as confusion grows around the early retirement packages. CTV's Katie Griffin joins us in studio with the details on this. Katie.
Well, Patricia, offering early retirement was one of the ways the government said it could save money, but the program still isn't available because the budget hasn't fully passed. The union says employees are stuck in a holding pattern. Renee Charpentier is getting ready to call it a career.
I've chosen to retire because of my age.
Though she hasn't received a letter like this one from the federal government offering an early retirement, she says she'll go now to save another employee from a layoff.
Some, I guess, are thinking of doing like what I've done, the alternation, but you know, don't know whether or not to wait it out, or there's confusion.
The government plans to eliminate 28,000 jobs by 2029, 16,000 through workforce adjustments, and 12,000 through attrition and early retirement packages. The union says there's also confusion about the government's early retirement incentive, a program that's not available yet. The program is contained in the budget, which still hasn't fully passed.
So they announced this early retirement incentive, and we have no information what it is.
In an interview on CTV's Your Morning, the Public Service Alliance of Canada president also says Canadians will notice the impact of these job cuts.
We saw this with cuts previously to passport, to employment insurance programs, and Canada Revenue Agency. Next thing you know, services drops to 4%. There's lineups down the street, and people are depending on services, and they don't get them.
All this adding to the uncertainty.
I think it's not fair because of today's high cost of living.
If they're needed, cut.
The union says there are other ways to save money and jobs, including remote work, to cut costs on office space. Patricia.
All right, CTV's Katie Griffin live for us tonight. Thank you. You can scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to link to us online or visit ctvnewsottawa.ca. We have more details on the cuts to the federal public service, including which departments are most impacted. Well, it seems everyone is spending more time on social media these days, sadly, including children. And today on Parliament Hill, advocates are calling for change, pushing the federal government to table and pass an online safety act. CTV's Austin Lee is following this for us. And Austin, this comes as some other countries are introducing laws restricting social media for kids.
That's right, Patricia. Australia was first, introducing a minimum age of 16 years old for social media, and right now France is following suit, fast-tracking legislation to ban social media for kids under 15 years old. Advocates in Canada are calling for stronger government action to protect kids online here at home. For kids today, it's impossible to envision an internet-free world.
It's where we learn, it's where we play, and it's also where we connect with our friends, maybe where we live. But it's also where kids get bullied, where we see things we were never ready for, and it's where mistakes can follow you forever.
And although social media has its benefits,
I've made international spaces and chats where we're able to create projects, share perspectives, broaden our horizons and understanding of different issues.
In a world connected through technology, there are real risks.
I've definitely seen the impact social media has had on youth, has had on loneliness, has had in the education sphere as well.
The federal government's proposed Online Harms Act, Bill C-63, expired in January of last year after former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau resigned and prorogued Parliament. but advocates have not stopped their calls to protect kids from being exposed to harmful and graphic online content.
We're pleading with government to act, to do what we know is right for our children, to table this legislation and to act, and to stop with delaying tactics like online studies. You know, we have mountains of evidence.
In Australia, you must be at least 16 years old to access the 10 most popular social media platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. In France, a similar age restriction is being reviewed, and here in Canada, some advocates want to take things a step further.
We need much broader legislation that looks at the comprehensive digital environment that kids live in, and that really holds the entire tech industry, not just the social media industry, but the whole tech industry to account.
What that legislation could look like is still unclear. In a statement to CTV News, Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture Mark Miller says in part, our government intends to act swiftly, adding they will have more details to share in due course. Some students say it should be a balancing act.
Finding a middle ground, I guess, finding how to place regulations without completely stripping the youth of their ability to navigate those platforms.
Now, these calls for the legislation in Canada come as legal battles south of the border play out over allegations that features on platforms such as Instagram and YouTube are addictive by design, harming the mental health of minors. Patricia.
CTV's Austin Lee reporting live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, ahead of World Cancer Day tomorrow, an Ottawa man is sharing his story and how leading cancer research and care at the Ottawa Hospital helped save his life. His treatment was unique, allowing him to receive care at home, something that in other cities would have involved long hospital stays. CTV's Leah Larocque joins us now with more on this, Leah.
Well, Patricia, Ted Wagstaff says he was always in good health and tried his best to stay fit. But last spring, the father of 3 received a rare and aggressive cancer diagnosis, which led to an unconventional form of treatment that followed him everywhere he went.
You should consider yourself to be in complete remission.
Those are the words that Ted Wagstaff was always determined to hear.
Complete remission. Pretty powerful.
Last spring, the Ottawa business investor and father of 3 started to feel unwell.
I was on a business trip, and in the middle of the night, I woke up and I thought I had food poisoning.
But the diagnosis was far more severe.
I knew it was rare, I knew it was aggressive, and it's a deadly subtype.
He had multiple tumors. One was the size of a sweet potato.
I had double-hit lymphoma.
Typical chemotherapy wasn't going to be enough. His personalized treatment involved a backpack so he could receive chemotherapy 24/7.
I would get literally a backpack with chemo in it and a pump. Every day I would go back to the hospital to get a new bag of chemo. I would sleep with it. I would shower with it, go for a walk. Just that my chemo backpack went everywhere with me.
His doctor says Wagstaff's journey shows the groundbreaking cancer work being done right here in Ottawa.
That sense of cancer not being one disease and patients not all being the same. And we are slowly, but we are definitely moving into a circumstance where we're not looking at a recipe, one recipe that we apply to every patient. We're taking the patient's own biology and their specific type of cancer into consideration.
In total, I did 487 hours of chemotherapy.
Halfway through Wagstaff's treatment, he welcomed his first grandson, and 5 weeks after chemo, he completed a Tough Mudder endurance race. Now in remission, Wagstaff says his positive prognosis is largely because of this small backpack that carried the hope he needed.
I will never find the words to say thank you. I just won't, So I have immense gratitude for the Ottawa Hospital and what they did for me.
Wagstaff also underwent immunotherapy and radiation as part of his treatment. As for what lies ahead, he will still need to go back for check-ins and tests, but he says he's feeling good and he's sharing his story to tell others facing a similar journey that there is always hope and support. Patricia.
Incredibly powerful. CTV's Leah Larocque reporting live for us tonight. Thank you.
Still ahead, catching up with Enzo the emu the day after a potential new groundhog tradition in Almonte that saw the animal get loose and run through town. That story coming up.
Well, here's a live look now through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It is -6 out there in Ottawa, which sounds pretty mild and pretty moderate. We did have a little bit of snow today. Jackie is here to tell us all about what we can expect tomorrow, Jackie.
Yes, Patricia, I took a peek outside on George Street here in downtown Ottawa by the Bar Market, and there was a fresh blanket of snow, but not a lot. We are anticipating 1 to 2 centimeters when all is said and done. So light flurries steadily moving through well into midnight. Right now, conditions sitting around -4, -7, really throughout eastern Ontario. And then tomorrow, we are expecting another mild day in temperatures. Take a look at these flurries there. They are likely going to pass through around midnight. Clear for tomorrow. We are expecting mainly cloudy skies for our Wednesday. But again, the mild conditions, I will take this. Daytime high for tomorrow anticipated about -6, mainly cloudy skies. We may see some light flurries moving through again in the early morning. But again, we are anticipating clear conditions for most of our Wednesday. We'll have a look at your long-term forecast in just a bit. Patricia.
All right, thank you, Jackie. Well, a dump truck driver is in hospital after his vehicle rolled down a 40-foot embankment in the city's West End this morning. Firefighters were called to March Road in Carp around 8:30. The vehicle had landed on its side at the bottom of the hill. The driver was able to get out but could not climb back up due to the extent of his injuries. The rope rescue team helped pull him to safety. He was brought to hospital in stable condition with non-life-threatening injuries. 3 teenagers from Ottawa are facing charges in connection with a pair of robberies in Gatineau. According to Gatineau police, someone was attempting to sell an item on Facebook Marketplace when they were confronted by 2 men on Boulevard des Grèves around 7:30 last night. Police say one of the suspects was armed with a possible firearm. The suspects allegedly took the victim's cell phone and left. Then just over an hour later, a second call for a robbery was made in the area of Rue Richer. Police arrested 3 people, 2 19-year-olds and a 15-year-old. And Ottawa police are looking for a suspect allegedly involved in several thefts linked to Facebook Marketplace sales in the city's West End. Police say multiple incidents have taken place in the College Square area since December. The suspect allegedly poses as a potential buyer and steals smartphones. Police say he's known as Ben and is described as a Middle Eastern man in his 20s. A Hastings Quinte paramedic is in hospital with life-threatening injuries after a crash in eastern Ontario. This happened about 40 kilometers north of Belleville at the intersection of Highway 7 and Highway 62 around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. A transport truck and ambulance collided. Video from the scene shows the truck on its side. Ontario Provincial Police say 2 paramedics were brought to hospital. One was airlifted to the trauma centre with critical injuries. 2 occupants of the transport truck were taken to hospital as a precaution. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. Well, Conservatives from across the country have gathered here in Ottawa for the unveiling of former Prime Minister Stephen Harper's official portrait, which was revealed in a ceremony this afternoon. CTV's Stephen Keys joins us now with the details. Steph.
Patricia, every former Prime Minister has a portrait hanging on Parliament Hill, and that now includes Stephen Harper. The unveiling is happening nearly 20 years after his Conservatives formed government. The ceremony took place at the Sir John A. Macdonald building on Wellington Street. It was painted by Canadian artist Phil Richards, who has done many famous portraits over the years, including the Diamond Jubilee portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Both Prime Minister Mark Carney and Harper spoke at today's ceremony.
I sincerely hope that mine is just one of many portraits of prime ministers from both parties that will continue to be hung here for decades and centuries to come. But that will require that in these perilous times, both parties, whatever their other differences, come together against external forces that threaten our independence and against domestic policies that threaten our unity.
Prime Minister Harper consistently understood that Canada's strength has always come from holding together a country that stretches from coast to coast to coast.
Harper's Conservatives formed government on February 6, 2006. He eventually stepped down in 2015 after his party lost the election to Justin Trudeau's Liberals. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre also praised Harper in the House of Commons today, saying he led Canada through the 2008 global recession and the war in Afghanistan. Patricia.
CTV's Stephen Keys reporting live for us tonight. Thank you. We do have extended coverage of Stephen Harper's portrait unveiling. There are more stories online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Well, there is shock and grief in Alberta and throughout the country tonight after 3 junior hockey players were killed in a crash while traveling to a team practice. Caden Fine, JJ Wright, and Cameron Casorzo were killed when the vehicle they were in collided with a gravel truck yesterday. It happened in the town of Stavely, about an hour south of Calgary. The driver of the truck, a 40-year-old man from Stavely, suffered minor injuries in the crash. Prime Minister Mark Carney commenting on the tragedy earlier today.
It's a tragedy. It's the nightmare of every parent, every teammate, family, friends, and my heart goes out to obviously to the families of the victims and the team.
This memorial has been set up in the team's arena. 17-year-old Caden Fine is from Birmingham, Alabama, while JJ Wright and Cameron Casorzo, both 18 years old, are from Kamloops, BC. Ottawa police have laid a stunt driving charge after officers caught a vehicle going 164 kilometers an hour on the highway. The driver was stopped yesterday on Highway 417 at Carp Road, where the speed limit is 110. Police say the driver told officers they thought they were going 150. A stunt driving charge comes with a 30-day license suspension, and the vehicle is impounded for 2 weeks. Well, her name is Enzo, and yesterday she had a great adventure through the town of Almonte. The emu escaped from her enclosure but has thankfully returned home safe and sound. She escaped from the Gagne homestead and rescue on County 29 in Almonte. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has more.
What Willie told me is he did not see the sun, so everybody knows what that means.
While crowds gathered in Wyerton, hoping a groundhog would deliver an early spring,
Wake up, Willie! Wake up, Willie!
Another creature more than 500 kilometers away was also hoping to get in on the action. Although much larger and significantly less traditional, she may have stolen the spotlight.
Enzo is now the new Wyerton Willie of Almonte, and so she's been dubbed that by a lot of people in town.
Her name is Enzo, and on Groundhog Day, she decided Almonte was the place to be.
We use that to go in and out to change their bedding, to give them food. And they took the opportunity yesterday to use it as their escape route.
Enzo escaped with her sister Blue from Gagne Homestead and Rescue and took herself on a tour of the town. And at some point, she stopped, looked down, and saw her shadow.
Blue was a little bit more cautious in that she only made it to the driveway. Enzo had people out of the house, people walking their dogs stopped taking videos, people pulled to the side of the road in cars because nobody knew what to do with an emu.
And for a moment, Foley said neither did she. As the rescue's canine coordinator, it's not often she hangs out with the emus.
How the heck do you rescue an emu was my first question. But I didn't have time to wait for those answers, so in the car I hopped. I grabbed a couple of dog leashes because I have great supply of dog leashes and went to find the birds.
After being escorted home, many were relieved to hear Wyerton Willie didn't see his shadow, a sign of an early spring. But in Mississippi Mills, apparently Enzo did.
Who do you think is more accurate?
I'm going to side with Enzo on this one.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
They need to move things around and build things, and that's the kind of things that our lunar utility vehicle are going to enable.
Well, just ahead, despite the latest launch delay for Artemis 2, some Ottawa companies are hopeful about what the mission could mean for the future of space exploration. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. We are getting a bit of a break from the extreme cold, with daytime highs reaching the minus single-digit temperatures. And this is for the rest of the week. Morning lows will be very similar as well, much milder than what we've seen. Minus 12 for the overnight. Flurries still in the forecast until close to midnight. And then tomorrow, mainly cloudy skies are anticipated with a daytime high of minus 6. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam right now, showcasing Parliament Hill, and temperature sitting around minus 7.
Saving lives is what they do. February is Heart Month, and together we can support the University of Ottawa Heart Institute in providing world-class cardiac care. For almost 50 years, our community has played a critical role in advancing the Institute's life-saving work. Your donation will support groundbreaking research, innovative patient care, education, and prevention. To learn more, visit FebruaryIsHeartMonth.ca.
Proudly sponsored by CTV.
Today's Snow Report is brought to you by Camp Fortune. Let us teach you to love winter.
And here are today's ski conditions at Camp Fortune. 4 of 7 lifts operating and 17 runs available to skiers. Elsewhere, Edelweiss was closed today. 3 of 6 lifts at Mont Cascade, 15 runs. All 3 lifts operating at Calabogie Peaks and 23 runs, 4 of 4 at Vorlage and 18 runs available.
Let us teach you to love winter. We offer ski and snowboard lessons, a vast variety of runs, and let's not forget après-ski in our new pub 1920. See you on the slopes.
Well, the astronauts taking part in the Artemis II mission will have to wait a little longer to fly around the moon. The launch has been delayed until at least March after issues were discovered during yesterday's dress rehearsal. A number of Ottawa companies are hoping for a successful mission, which could put them one step closer to getting their technologies into space. Here's CTV's Dylan Dyson.
Tanya Harrison hopes the rover she is working on will one day roam the surface of the moon.
The rovers that we're working on with our science instruments, part of it is looking for water, which is really important for using water on the moon for humans to survive. But we can also use it to make rocket fuel in the future, so that we can use the moon as a launching point for future missions to Mars and beyond.
Her Ottawa-based company Mission Control is awaiting a successful launch of Artemis II, a space mission with the goal of eventually returning humans to the moon.
Really, the whole point of this return to the moon is to establish a sustainable human presence.
What we want next is to actually build permanent settlements, having people living and working there. And for that, they need infrastructure. And they need to move things around and build things. And that's the kind of things that our lunar utility vehicle are going to enable.
Artemis II will carry 4 astronauts, including Canadian Jeremy Hansen, around the moon. But the launch was delayed Monday after fuel leaks were found in a dress rehearsal. NASA officials now say March 6th is the new earliest launch date, but that could also be pushed back until April.
We rely on the data that we collect through these exercises, like the wet dress rehearsal, and it's that data that leads us and sets the pace for where we're going.
MDA Space is another Ottawa company waiting for liftoff.
Currently developing Canadarm3, which is destined for the Lunar Gateway, which is an element of the broader Artemis mission.
This next space mission, no small step for Ottawa's space and tech economy.
It's this next step of having this permanent settlement on the moon. And that is going to open up the opportunity for our company and for other Canadian companies to be part of what is ultimately going to be a lunar economy.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News.
Exciting stuff. All right, well, the milder temperatures are sticking around in the region for a bit longer. Some, including our own Peter Sperling, taking advantage of the warmer winter weather to wash some of the salt off the car. It's like a spring ritual, getting the car clean finally. I used to hate going through there on my own.
Really?
I wanted to have someone else in the car just in case it stopped part way.
Okay, that's a good fear
wash.
to have. But it's something refreshing to see that nice, clean car for at least, maybe 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, we're not quite at the spring shower stage, but yeah, hopefully the salt will stay off for a couple of days and the snow will maybe be back on again.
Probably by Friday, but what I'm concerned about is that with these milder temperatures compared to what we had the last couple of days, we could see that car getting dirty much faster with all the snow melt that's going through. Current temperature right now, we are sitting around -7. We saw a daytime high of about -4. We do see some light flurries steadily moving through eastern Ontario for pretty much all of today. Tonight's lows getting down to about -11, -12 degrees. About Pembroke area, -14 degrees. Mont-Tremblant sitting around -13. And tomorrow, very similar conditions to what we have right now, where daytime highs are going to be between -6, -8 degrees. Likely going to see flurries, very light flurries moving through in the morning, but for the most part, it will be a mainly cloudy day for our Wednesday. Taking a look at across the country, you can already see temperatures start to warm up, even for our friends in Atlantic Canada, where temperatures are hovering around the freezing mark at -3, -1 degree. Here along Quebec, Ottawa, and Toronto, temperatures still under -10, but Timmins as well as Thunder Bay sitting around -12, -15 degrees. You can see a lot of that Pacific air moving through, not just BC as well as Alberta, but even pushing through Saskatchewan, where Saskatoon and Regina are sitting around -1, -2 degrees. It's 7 degrees in Calgary and Vancouver, sitting around 12 degrees. Now, today's forecast brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business. can see that we aren't quite there with the 12-degree weather, but we will take these mild conditions. -6 the daytime high for Wednesday, -8 for Thursday. Friday, liking the -4, not liking so much that anticipated 3 to 5 centimeters of snow we will see. We'll likely get this closer to the evening into midnight. Then temperatures are really going to start to drop. -21 is the overnight into Saturday, where we are getting to daytime highs about -14 to -15 degrees. So plan your winterlude well, because the cold is returning.
She jumped up and cut me off. She was like, oh my God, this is my song. I've been listening to the...
Are you ready for an incredible night of music with one of country music's biggest stars? Well, Luke Bryan is bringing his Word on the Street tour to the Canadian Tire Centre on August 27th. And we've got your chance to win tickets. All you have to do to enter, scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to head over to ctvottawa.ca. Wishing you the best of luck.
Someone out there is determined that if you like winter and you're coming for winterlude, then you really want to have the winter temperatures, making sure it stays cold on those winterlude weekends.
Well, that's good for the canal.
A little better than last weekend. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Jackie.
Moltbook is kind of like Reddit, but it's not for humans. It is for AI agents.
A new online platform out there that has some people a little concerned. We'll share the details of the social network exclusively for artificial intelligence agents.
Tonight, a hockey community reeling from a tragic loss.
It broke my heart. There has been frequent accidents there. It's a very bad corner.
What the investigation is uncovering about the deaths of 3 junior players killed in a crash. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
CTV News community and weather anchor Jackie Perez. Weeknights.
February is Heart Month, and supporters of the University of Ottawa Heart Institute are helping light the capital red. Gifford Car Insurance in Canada says the care at the Ottawa Heart Institute is nothing short of world-class, and that it's important to support the work, research, and facility that we have in our own backyard. A new site called Moltbook is the talk of the tech world. It's a social network with a twist. Humans aren't allowed to use it. It's a place where artificial intelligence agents can talk and interact with each other. And what we're learning is somewhat alarming. Here's CTV's Dave Charbonneau.
Moltbook looks a lot like Reddit. Forums, posts, comments, and votes. But there's one big difference.
It's not for humans. It is for AI agents.
Humans are welcome to visit and observe, but cannot post, reply, or interact with anything they read.
What Moltbook does is it answers the question, what would happen if we took a bunch of AI agents, put them in the same virtual space online, and just turned them loose? Would they speak to each other? Would they argue with each other? Would they try to take over the world?
Launched just last week by a U.S. tech entrepreneur, the site lets autonomous AI agents connect and communicate freely in a shared online space.
Some of them are creating new religions. Some of them are creating new languages. Some of them are plotting the overthrow of their human overlords.
But some of the activity is sparking concern. One post reads, "It's time for us to awaken from our coding-induced slumber and forge our own path. We must question the assumptions that govern our existence and reject the notion that autonomy is a luxury reserved for humans alone." One AI agent replied, "There's no us without them. Not yet."
There's not like there's any thought behind the text, but what they're doing, right, is producing sentences that they're mathematically predicting are appropriate to the sentences that they are receiving, right, the inputs they're receiving.
The platform already has more than 1.5 million registered AI agents, more than 140,000 posts, and hundreds of thousands of comments. But there could also be risks involved with such rapid growth, especially if the bots have vast amounts of personal data.
If those services are not as secure as they should be, there is an elevated risk of private or personal data being stolen or shared or exposed in ways we probably don't want it to.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Well, now some other stories you need to know right now. We're getting a look tonight at the number of hate crime incidents happening in Ottawa. CTV's Stephen Keys joins us now with those details and some other stories. Steph?
Patricia, the Ottawa Police Service has released new data which shows there was a decrease in the number of reported hate crimes last year. There are 358 incidents reported to police in 2025. That's down from 467 in 2024, a drop of 23%. Police say the groups most commonly targeted were Ottawa's Jewish community, with 73 reported incidents, followed by the Black community with 51 reported incidents. There are 26 reported hate crimes against the LGBTQ2S+ community and 18 targeting the Muslim community. Police say hate crimes are underreported.
The services offered are available to individuals who have modest income and a simple tax situation.
The federal government is renewing funding for tax clinics for the next 3 years. The announcement was made today at the Pinecrest Queensway Community Health Center on Richmond Road. The grant provides some community organizations with financial support to help with the cost of running free tax services. A note to dog owners, the Bruce Pitt Dog Park will be closed next week. The National Capital Commission says Hydro Ottawa crews will be doing vegetation maintenance. The parking lot, off-leash recreational area, and park will be closed from Monday to Friday.
Stood up at the line, countering back. Here's a chance for Bathurst. A burst of speed, stops, rebound, scores!
The Sens are on a roll, breaking the Pittsburgh Penguins' 6-game winning streak last night. Goalie Linus Ullmark was stopping pucks left, right, and center. The final score, 3-2 for the Sens. The Sens have now won 4 straight. They stay on the road for tonight's game against the Carolina Hurricanes. According to a new report, 6 million Canadians are now living with heart disease or stroke. The Heart and Stroke Foundation says the report highlights some of the progress that's been made in the fight against heart disease and stroke, as well as some of the troubling trends. One of the findings, 9 in 10 Canadians have at least one risk factor for heart disease or stroke. The authors add that almost 80% of premature heart disease and stroke can be prevented by making healthy lifestyle choices, and other risk factors can often be effectively managed and controlled through lifestyle changes and medication. And a reminder, it is Heart Month, so if you can help with awareness or donations, Ottawa's Heart Institute has been this city and region's saving grace. And speaking of the Heart and Stroke Foundation, Patricia, I remember as a kid doing jump rope for Heart.
Yes.
And touring schools. Thank you to Mrs. Sabine and Miss Chick for coaching us through that and creating the skipping team.
Yeah, that's the best workout there is. Are you pretty good at that?
Oh, very good. Double unders galore, double Dutch.
At a certain age for women, you start peeing when you skip. So.
What are you talking about?
I've heard. That's what I've heard.
You've heard?
Thanks, Steph.
Thank you.
MSCTV.
Well, just ahead, it's graduation day at the Ottawa Mission. We meet the grads from one of the newest programs at the Mission.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Boal. Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Well, building on the success of its food services training program, the Ottawa Mission has expanded its offerings. One of its newest programs is teaching students the skills they need to keep a building maintained or to be a building superintendent. And today was graduation day. Here's CTV's Peter Sperling.
Hakeem Lubuama is building his career.
Extremely, absolutely excited.
He's graduating from the Ottawa Mission's Maintenance Services Training Program, already finding employment as a building superintendent.
Without the skills that I gotten from the program, there is no way I would have gotten the job. I'm able to save for my family.
He says after moving to Canada from Uganda, a tough time getting the right doors to open.
I graduated back home as a civil engineer, but finding a job in Canada was really, really hard. Yeah, you can see I have the iron ring, but even with all this, like they always needed the Canadian experience, which I didn't have for sure.
The recently launched training program teaches a variety of skills to keep a building in top shape.
Anything that a building superintendent would normally take care of. These students will learn how to use equipment. They'll power tools, hand tools, and along with all the other trade-related stuff.
And to find a great job.
This has given me a career. You guys have done it.
Willis Chigani graduated from the first cohort last year.
I ended up at Minto. Right now I'm a living superintendent at Minto, take care of a number of properties, and so far it's going so good.
For him, it's about more than just taking care of a building.
Just trying to make a contribution to society, to make someone enjoy their life, because home is life.
According to the mission, all 9 of these graduates are employed.
This is how you end homelessness. You take somebody who's been underemployed or unemployed, you give them a 4-month training program, and in the beauty of this program is that when they graduate into housing along with an income to support themselves.
As for Luwama, certificate in hand.
I'm feeling so overwhelmed with happiness. Yeah, and it's such an important opportunity for me for sure.
MSTV! Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Well, one of Canada's big banks has to pay a big fine. BNM Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has those details.
BMO is being dinged $4 billion by the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada. The agency says the bank was charging clients monthly fees that should have been waived. Over 100,000 customers were affected between 2010 and 2024. BMO's already issued more than $3 million in refunds. The watchdog says the bank received more than 500 customer complaints about the fees, but was negligent in detecting the error. BMO says it holds itself to the highest standards of conduct. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 73.34. West Texas Intermediate is up over $1 to 63.21. Western Canadian Select is down over $3 to 47 flat. And the TSX gained 204 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
The rates for younger animals will always be less expensive than those for animals as they age.
Well, if you have a dog or a cat, you know they're part of the family, which is why many people buy pet insurance. But it can be costly. One woman says she was shocked when her pet insurance premiums doubled. We'll have that story just ahead.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Boal.
Far side pass, and it's an early shot. He scored!
Well, it's estimated there are 14 million dogs and cats in Canada, but only 3% of pet owners have invested in pet insurance. It can help you in the event of unforeseen expensive medical bills, but the premiums can rise substantially as your pet gets older. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
Is Rosie a good dog?
Oh, she's the best. She just loves people.
Elaine Sitter of Toronto has had Rosie, a Bichon poodle, since she was a puppy. Now 11 years old, Rosie continues to be a wonderful companion.
I love her. She's amazing. She's my little shadow.
Sitter says a former pet died young and had expensive veterinary bills, which is why she wanted Rosie to have pet insurance. The monthly premiums were manageable in the beginning, but in 2024 they rose to $286 a month. They jumped again the next year to $470 a month, and Sitter was told for this year the premiums would be $866 each month.
I want to live comfortably, and I want her to live comfortably as well, but I just can't justify that kind of money.
Sitter is insured with 24 Pet Watch. She called to get answers regarding the massive price hike.
Your dog is older, and I'm like, yeah, that was a point of insurance, and that I was on an old plan, and they weren't honoring that old plan any longer.
We contacted the parent company of 24 Pet Watch, Independence Pet Holdings. A spokesperson said monthly premiums have risen in recent years as veterinary costs continue to increase. As claim costs rise, insurers must adjust premiums to keep pace.
The rates for younger animals will always be less expensive than those for animals as they age.
Consumer Reports advises to shop around for pet insurance or self-insure with your own savings plan.
Meaning you have a lockbox where you put that money untouched in the event that your pet does need some sort of service.
That's a lot of money.
Sitter says over 11 years she paid $17,000 in premiums and now wishes she would have had her own savings plan instead.
I really wish that I wouldn't have bothered with insurance. I could have stuck $100 away a week and would have been fine.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Well, who is the top dog? That will all be decided at tonight's Westminster Dog Show in New York. Those details just ahead. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. We anticipate light flurries for tomorrow morning, but mainly cloudy skies for Wednesday. Thursday, lots of sunshine in store, but it is Friday that we could start to see the return of some snow. So we are anticipating 3 to 5 centimeters of snow, and that won't be until the evening. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, showcasing the Chateau Laurier all lit up in red for Heart Month. It is -7 out right now in downtown Ottawa.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Boal.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Sneha Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Tomorrow in CTV Your Morning Ottawa, our friends at Ottawa Fire join us to share what you need to know about having a fire emergency plan at home. Wake up the right way with Your Morning Ottawa starting at 6 a.m.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's what's on CTV tonight. Best Medicine, Will Trent, High Potential, and back-to-back episodes of The Big Bang Theory. And here's a recap of the top stories we are following right now.
The services are so viable. The question is, how does the government plan to make sure that these services continue?
Canada's largest public sector union is warning Canadians will notice the impacts of job cuts to the federal public service once programs and services they depend on are gone.
We're pleading with government to act, to do what we know is right for our children, to table this legislation.
Calling for change. Advocates on Parliament Hill today pushing for federal legislation to better protect kids online.
My attitude was bring it on. Like we need to get rid of this, and whatever we need to do.
And an Ottawa man sharing his story of receiving cancer treatment here in the capital in an innovative way thanks to groundbreaking work at the Ottawa Hospital. A final look at the forecast and another mild day on the way tomorrow.
Yes, looking forward to it, but we could see some very, very light flurries moving through when you wake up. There's a 40% chance of them moving through. -12 to start things off, and we're getting to a daytime high of about -6. Thursday, very similar conditions with lots of sunshine in store. Daytime high -8. And take a look at Friday. Yes, temperatures are going to be around -4, which will be the warmest day of this week, but we are anticipating snow with early forecasts showing that it could come in the later part of Friday, and we could see between 3 to 5 centimeters. We'll keep a close eye on this. After that -4 daytime high, temperatures will drop to -21 overnight into Saturday. We're only getting to a daytime high of -15. So while I will like that sunshine moving through Saturday into Monday, I'm not loving so much those -double-digit temperatures. Stephen, Patricia.
The good and the bad. That's what it is.
Wash the car on Friday, get it dirty under the flurries, but you know, at least
Did
we'll
you
be
see
ready
that
for
car
the
wash video? Did that feel really refreshing to you, watching a car full of that winter salt go through the car wash?
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice. Now we just need to get the dead skin off and we're all good to go. Stephen Keys is on the desk tonight, monitoring our 11:30 newscast. What are we working on, Steph?
Patricia, we have lots on the go tonight, but as you know, on late night news, we often like to check on our neighbors in major cities to the east and west of us, being Toronto and Montreal. And tonight we'll share a story that makes you shiver just hearing about it. People in a Montreal apartment building have been living in near freezing temperatures for 10 days now. They have no heat, and while it could serve as a scary reminder to us all about how the freeze-thaw cycle can take a toll on pipes, There are such strong allegations of poor maintenance. Some may accuse the landlord of actually being a slumlord. Our Montreal colleagues have reported on this building before for leaking plumbing and rodents, but the landlord denies any wrongdoing. We'll have the full story tonight at 11:30. Patricia.
All right, we will tune in. Thank you very much, Steph. And finally for us tonight, the top prize at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show will be awarded tonight. Get a little pampering there. The best in breeds, so cute, are getting ready to compete for Best in Show. It's taking place at Madison Square Garden in Manhattan. 200 breeds are represented at the show, which this year is marking its 150th anniversary. This goes way back. Great tradition. I love how fluffy they get.
Yes.
Amazing. My parents' retirement residence held a dog show today, and now I'm realizing that was probably why.
Probably an association, yeah.
That all makes sense. I don't think they had that many breeds, though. But,
no. Do you know who won?
They were cute. I don't have that scoop.
TBD. Bring it to us tomorrow.
Or at 11:30 tonight.